Welcome, everybody. We're here today to celebrate a sailor, a cast member of 2 productions that occurred here in Minnesota, one at the Guthrie called The Telling Project in Minnesota Remembers Vietnam, and we have some of the cast members who will meet in just a little bit. We performed at the Guthrie, and we share our stories as veterans, and on that stage was veterans from all ages. And then we'll also have, we'll also get to know a little bit more about Ken's participation in the most recent production, TPT's production of Minnesota Remembers Vietnam. And we have some of the cast members here from that production, as well as one of our gurus who still continues today to have events throughout Minnesota, and who just came back from Vietnam. We'll get to meet Katie in a little bit here. And then Ken's passion for music resonated all the way up, and thus we ended up with a retired Sergeant Major who was a member of the Army Reserve Corps, 51st Army Band, Sergeant Major Janet Jones. And Janet will be leading us towards the end in some Broadway show tunes. And I want to hear your best Broadway voices back there. All right. And so with that, we're going to get started here. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to start by sharing here. Whoop, back, right here. You know, Ken's family is sort of spread out these days. Some live down south where it's nice and warm, like his brother John, who's a Vietnam veteran. And then you got Janet, who is his sister, and Janet's down from Maryland. And Jan's going to be playing us a tune that she came up with especially for Ken's birthday. And then you got Debbie, who's here in the cities, and you might see Debbie come over here to the Crest View, and Debbie goes up to Ken's room, and they like to battle back and forth with checkers and other things. I'm not sure what the fights are back here in that back room, but brother and sister, right? So, but Ken has other families. Veteran families. And families in different medical facilities, people embracing him so that he gets better. Ken suffered a stroke right after Veterans Day and has aphasia, which he has a speech, he's working on his speech. Yes. And as you all know here, Ken went from wheelchair, you saw him with his walker, and now he's at his cane. We're waiting for him to tap dance. That could happen anytime. So, wait a second. Yeah, you remember some of those guys. An activist. Ken was quite the activist, which we'll find out in the part of the show. Well, yeah, you bet. Ken's a friend of a senator, and we're going to get to explore some of Ken's other interests in addition to music and yeah. So, with that, let me go to our next section here. One of the followers of Minnesota Remembers Vietnam, and he couldn't be here today because he was doing a POW MIA celebration, but he wanted us to show this video. And his name is Sean Shipper, and he's from Fargo Moorhead area, but he's a guitarist and he's a songwriter. And we're going to hear Sean's song here, if everything works right. Volume. Maybe not.
I'm so sick of war. I bet the guys on the other side wanna go home like I do. Miss you, Mom and Dad. The life I had, I pray to God I'll get back home again to be with you. Search and destroy, kill, be killed. Mayhem out here in the battlefield. Adrenaline flowing. Another sleepless night, holding my M16, ready for a fight. What are we fighting for? I'm so sick of war. I bet the guys on the other side wanna go home like I do. Miss you, Mom and Dad. The life I had, I pray to God I'll get back home again to be with you. Here in the trenches, fear everywhere, death and destruction, smoke in the air. Mortars, grenades, deafening sounds, shrapnel and bullets flying all around. Praying to God, calling for moms. Another buddy dies in Vietnam. Another buddy dies in Vietnam. And it goes on and on and on and on. What are we fighting for? I'm so sick of war. I bet the guys on the other side wanna go home like I do. Miss you, Mom and Dad. The life I had, I pray to God I'll get back home again to be with you. 19 years old, 6 months from prom, out in a jungle in Vietnam.
Good job, Sean.
The Vietnam War was so incredibly unpopular that when the Vietnam veterans came back, there was a sense that they were forgotten. We are just going to work our way through the script. The idea here is to bridge the gap between civilians and veterans, and we use theatre as a way to structure that conversation.
I think that's how I got better about Vietnam is talking.
Well, Ken Sholes, who's a member of the cast, Ray Wilson, just can you just plan, turn around there and say hi to everyone there. Ray Wilson. Myself, and then Mary Beth production, couldn't make it, and she said, happy birthday. And Kang Bang, who was a video producer, who just finished, I think, his 3rd video production since we went up on stage and this was produced. But we do have someone here from TPT that I'd like to introduce. And what I have following Katie's remarks here is a clip. I have Ken Sholes' clip of his shenanigans on stage.
Sorry, with
Can anybody care if we take pictures?
Go ahead,
today?
absolutely. You may take pictures.
Well, my name is Katie Carpenter, and I was very fortunate to meet Ken, and Jay, who are here today, through the Telling Project production at Twin Cities Public Television. And I met them last spring when they performed a live stage production that they created with the help of a nonprofit called the Telling Project that interviewed the veterans and created an original play out of their very own words. And it was really inspiring to see them working together to support each other through the process. And our station, in addition to having the play at our station, we captured a behind-the-scenes documentary of what the process looked like and how their experiences made an impact on the individuals who were in the play. So I feel really fortunate to just hear their stories. I think it's really courageous what they all experienced, the courage it took to share the stories, especially in a play. That would be pretty difficult, I would think. But I am really amazed by Ken's story, his experiences in Vietnam, and also the advocacy he did when he returned from war, and just hearing about how veterans weren't welcomed home. So this group was actually the first to share their stories in a year-long initiative that we did called Minnesota Remembers Vietnam, which expanded on the Ken Burns and Lynn Novick series, The Vietnam War, that aired across the nation on PBS. So I've been working on this for the past year, and I think their stories really helped to spark other people to share their stories as well. We've gathered over 1,000 stories on an interactive website, other documentaries, events, and I thank all of you for just stepping up, literally on stage, and just being open with your experiences. I think I'm a better person for knowing all of you, and I think seeing the impact of all the stories really made a difference. You really made a difference in people's lives. But I think the one thing that really stands out is just the friendship that you all have. I mean, it's evident today. You can see just the thoughtful presentation that Ken did, the caregiving, the care. There's just a genuine love between all of you, which I think is the most special part of this whole experience. So I'm glad to be here today. Happy birthday to you. Cheers to you.
and I just we're Tria and what's that? Yes.
Thank you too, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I think
But I yeah. The Eritrea was just out a number. So there.
Well, thanks, and I think we're going to watch your segment of the play.
Thank you.
The first time we did the Telling Project, we performed in March of 2015 at the Guthrie. I was partially interested in the Telling Project in that I did theater at Hamlin University. I was more interested in becoming a writer than a performer. But I also enjoyed this telling stories in general. I have Play-Dohs for my kids in New York. I save them all. These are 2 containers of Play-Dohs. I actually have 3 more. Well, I think theater is a way of telling really human stories that are often sad or riveting because they can be gritty and they can be painful. So shows often help us progress as humans, because they point out things that are wrong and need improvement. This was probably taken when I was on my leave, right before going to Vietnam. This is me sitting on the couch in the living room, and that's me in my uniform with my bell bottoms here. You can see the bell bottoms. Vietnam probably fits into my life in that it's something that I really didn't want to do. I joined the Navy because I thought I'd be on board a ship. And I was sent to Vietnam, to the Navy hospital in Da Nang, where I worked as a cook. This shows the hospital when it opened it. The NSA Station Hospital was officially opened in January 1966. At its peak, the hospital had 600 beds and was the largest and finest combat casualty hospital in Vietnam. And this is probably the incoming, where they triage and give emergency care. Once I got there, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it is a war, and there's a possibility that you could die. It sticks, it's sort of indelible in my head, that experience. I probably hate it then, but I'm glad I did go, and I'm glad I did do my best to serve my country. Hey Howard, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm here for my volunteer shift.
Okay, that sounds
I
good.
got something exciting to show you.
Oh, really?
And I started volunteering at the Crest View Library at least 10, 15 years ago. We used to be in St. Paul, but now we're in Minneapolis on Lake Street. I enjoy it there because it's solely a gay library. It's just about everything in there is gay related. I'm going to play myself on stage. It's all about my experiences in Vietnam. And I tell about how I get rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, because when I went in, everyone was in the closet, remember?
Yep.
Lobbying Congress to get rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell was interesting, to try to persuade them to change their mind on this. Most of the time, because I'm from a liberal state, I have very little problems with meeting my senators or representatives. And I enjoyed the process. I would try to wear like a pin or medals to say I'm a Vietnam veteran, to wear medals saying I earned these, I was gay, I was in the military, to make a statement to say we can do the job. It was a great experience, not just in lobbying Congress, in meeting other veterans who were doing the same. After serving in Vietnam, she goes, I didn't talk about Vietnam, nobody really cared and nobody really wanted to hear, so I didn't bother. And that's like,
That's sad.
well, it's sad, but back then, I found I didn't talk about it for like 20, 30 years after I finished my service in Vietnam. I don't remember any welcome home that I think we try to give our current veterans. I don't remember ever getting one. And years later, they had a parade for Vietnam veterans. I don't know, I think I felt like I'm truly back now. I can put Vietnam behind me.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I really am.
So we have to wind back 2 years from last year, back to 2015. And Ken, along with DeJean, who you'll meet here in just a moment, and we had 4 other cast members from different war areas. I think they just wanted us old parts up there, Ken, I don't know. Yeah. But it's interesting that when you come back, yes, that's us. It's interesting when you come back to everyone, you know, some people have physical problems and others have mental problems, and then you have all types of facilities if you reach out to get the help. Some don't to this day. But we have a person that I think that you can appreciate who was in the production. There were 3 of us in the production that were all public affairs. We were all journalists and we were all photographers in various areas. And I'd like to introduce to you DeJean.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. Like you said, I participated and I got to meet Ken at the Telling Project, and I remember going in there the first time that we sat around the table and reading our stories. And the first thing that came to mind was just gratitude, like that I got to meet these people and I got to hear their stories, and it was such a blessing and an honor to kind of be witness with them. But what I learned later, when I went to share my story, I was talking about having PTSD related to military sexual trauma. And I was really nervous, and when I walked into the room and there were males sitting at the table, I got a little bit more nervous, and then obviously soon came to find that he would be like an older brother or uncle or something to me. When we would go on stage every time, it was hard to get those words out, but hearing them share so boldly and share their resiliency stories, it was just such a huge blessing. And he was actually the one, after I would tell my story on stage, he stood behind me while I was telling it, and I remember his presence and just thinking about everything that he had experienced and how he so boldly spoke his truth and helped so many people. And I was still in the military at this time when we were doing this production, and I was nervous that there would be people from my unit or people with rank that were going to come and see this, and I was really nervous. But having Ken there, I mean, it was a really amazing gift. So I thank you for that. It was just that reminder too that in the military we have this term that's "I got your six," and it's just like that. I've got your back, kind of, like the 6 o'clock. And he really did. He stood behind me during that performance. And so I just wanted to share a quick little thing with everybody as we celebrate his birthday. And the gift that he's given me is we might have regrets. When we look back at life, often when they see people go throughout their life and they go, the top regret was they didn't do this or they didn't do that. But really, everybody in this room has a story of resiliency. And whether you're sharing it with your family members or you're sharing it with a stage of people, I don't know, I would encourage you to kind of write some of those stories down, even if it's just in a journal for yourself. And just really remembering and looking back at everything. I think sometimes people have this big idea that they have to go fight wars or go march on Washington, which is amazing, but also we can do that in our communities. And we can have those stories of resiliency just to kind of spread down to like the generations behind us, but also for people now, like he had such an impact on me just sharing everything that he experienced with both kids. I cried every time we went on stage. I'm a feeler. Yeah. Did you too?
Well, no, you got cried, and then she like went and she went to this hug and being
Yeah.
so.
It was great too, the comic relief that he brought. A little story that's a little bit inappropriate, but behind the scenes it's not that inappropriate. But he talked about how they called the bologna. Was it bologna that you guys served? I think it was, yeah, they served bologna and they had a nickname for it that was a little inappropriate.
It wasn't bologna though, it was something like that.
Something like a meat, kind of like bologna, and they called it. They referenced a part of a horse.
They weren't sure what it was.
Yeah, there you go. And so, so at the beginning, before we went on stage, we all put our hands into the circle, and we were.
Because people that, oh well.
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, it was great though. I think that like we all had nerves, and he brought that humor back to the table. And so as we go out into the world and think about all the things that we've been through, I think the thing that you brought too is just that humor, and that like looking back and not taking ourselves so seriously. I think that that's a big tool to resiliency as well. Just looking back and being like, that happened. All right, driving on, and here we go. So thank you for letting me be a part of your celebration. I love you, and thank you guys for listening.
I believe so.
I don't want to stare in that thing.
You don't?
So can we start? Can you blank the?
Just for you.
She showed.
What? Hey, this is for you, so don't give me a hard time. Joking.
Nice to you, sister.
Good thing I didn't hear that.
All right.
Are you? Okay, good. Okay, test 1, 2. How's the guitar out there? Good?
Sounds real good.
So anyway, Ken Platt told me this celebration was happening and I was in Maryland. And he said, maybe you could come. And then he said, why don't you write a song? And I thought he was joking.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that's nice. He's just joking. And then a week later or so, 2 weeks, he said, how's the song coming?
Oh.
So I thought I'd better write it. So I did, and the words just kind of came. So really, this is dedicated to my brother, and it's also dedicated to all the people around him, all the families, all the people that have supported you, right? Friends and family. So anyway, and it's called Healing Ain't Easy. Oh darn. With a sense of humor. I saw you struggle and reach for the words. Some did come easy and some not at all. You wanted to tell us what you like to do, but tied up in knots are all of your thoughts, and you can't get through. 'Cause healing ain't easy, and healing ain't fun, but surrounded by friends, the work can be done. God is a healer who comes to abide and gives us comfort through those by our side. One day we'll be with them and pain will be gone. Now we wait for the day with courage and pray, and I will be done. Oh, healing ain't easy, and healing ain't fun, but surrounded by friends, the work can be done. Every day is a struggle, challenge abound. With the help of true friendship, joy can be found. So keep trying to tell us the most basic words, and we'll untie the knots to get to your thoughts, so you can be heard. And I say healing ain't easy, healing ain't fun, but surrounded by friends, the work can be done. Oh, healing ain't easy, and healing ain't fun. So smile at this friend, his first name is Ken, and this song is done. Oh darn.
Thank you.
Wow, so much talent in one room. Wow. Okay. We have with us, as I said, a pianist that's going to lead us in some Broadway tunes. So, tune up your vocal cords. We're going to play 3 songs from the show tune, James Cagney, Yankee Doodle Dandy. So on your little song sheets you got right there, follow along here, because Sergeant Major Janet Jones, whose birthday is today also, happy birthday, is going to lead us in these 3 tunes.
First one is Give My Regards to Broadway. And if you don't know the verse, don't worry about it. Eventually we'll get to the chorus and you can sing that part. And if nobody knows the verse, then we'll just sing the chorus a couple times. verse to Yankee Doodle. So we'll just do the chorus on that. And if you notice on your lyrics sheet, every time the paragraph starts with "I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy," that's the chorus, and we'll sing that 3 times.
Yes, you want to come up here and help me?
Whose picture is this?
Who's that up there?
Not that toothless grin.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kim. Happy birthday to you.
You need help?
And to Janet Jones.
Blow these out? You can't eat it yet. You gotta blow them out. Go off the big puff.
One more kiss, Ken.
You gotta blow them out.
All right.
Blow.
There you go.
Let them eat cake.
Join us for cake and ice cream. Crest View said they'd like us to come over here so we don't.
I see.
If you cannot,
We have to gravitate over here to the food and ice cream.
Yes, sir.
Go on now.
Yes, very good.
he likes that word.
I know. Yeah.
Got some right here. You gotta, we may need more of these. Keep going. No charge.
Oh, you're gonna go over there?
Oh, yeah. We have to move in, so we kind of probably should take care of it. Yeah, because of that gentleman right there. Want to hear a funny story? He calls me and says, Jimmy, can you get a truck? I don't know. Okay, I'll see you here at this time, and we'll do this. Yeah, me and my wife rented a van and helped him move, him and his sister, and we helped him move from his house to here. And yeah, and then my Ken put the bed together, and we, and you know, just then there was another gentleman there. I think his son was a teenager, and he was in Afghanistan. But anyways, he helped us move too. And then Candy.
was like, I don't know what I was doing. Okay.
Okay.